let's get into what happened specifically with this this situation with the GameStop stock. So GameStop, for I'm sure everybody, you know what GameStop is, right? It's like a retail video game store. They sell video games and systems, and they trade in games and stuff like that. Anyway, so it was a very popular store for years now. And then they've been doing poorly. Their stock's been doing bad for the last couple years. And I think most of that has to do with the fact that video gaming has been transitioning to being online. A lot of people now just buy their games online. They don't have to go into the store anymore. And so it's kind of like the old model that's dying out a little bit. It's kind of like, you know, Blockbuster or, you know, Barnes and Nobles or stores like that. And then all of a sudden, you know, like Netflix or Amazon come in, and they just, not everybody has to go to these stores anymore. And so their stock went way down. And this was like pre-pandemic. It was in 2019, their stock was doing really, really bad. But they've been doing some things to move to a more online based format, and their online sales actually did really good through the pandemic. I guess a lot of people have a lot of free time. And, you know, video games were one way to kill the time when there's nothing else to do. And so the actual stores, a lot of them were closed through 2020, and their online sales were doing really good. Anyway, that's just in the background. So they were in like one of the most shorted companies. I think they were the most shorted company by like hedge funds. And then the people on Reddit got wind of this. Now, just to be real quick, just in case anybody doesn't know, it's not like that complicated or important, but shorting a stock is basically just betting against it. You're betting that the stock is going to go down. It's a form of speculation. So you're speculating that this stock is going to lose money. So what you do is they borrow the stock and sell it with the promise of returning it later. So for example, if a stock is at $10 a share, you borrow that from somebody and you sell it. You sell it for $10 a share. But now you have to buy it later and return it to the person who you borrowed it from. So if it goes down to $5 a share, you buy it back for $5 a share, you pocket the $5, right? So you bought it, you sold it at 10, you buy it back at 5, you make yourself a little profit. Now, shorting, it's a way that you can make some money, but it's also very dangerous. And this is why most average people don't get into shorting, because on the downside of shorting, like if you short a stock at $10, right? So you're borrowing the stock, you sell it at $10. The most you can make off of that is what the price of the stock was, right? So the stock goes to zero, then you can, you sell it back, you make your $10. But the most you can make is what the stock was valued at to begin with. But the losses can be infinite, because if you buy it, or if you short it at $10 and then the stock goes up to, 300, 500, 1,000, 10,000, you can lose that much minus what you originally shorted it at. But so this ends up being a tool that's used quite a bit by hedge funds, because they typically have more money to play with and they can speculate a little bit more. And they make a lot of money off doing this quite often. So it's done all the time. So anyway, so the Reddit page, was it called Wall Street Bets, got wind of the fact that this stock was so shorted, and they decided that they kind of colluded together to decide that they can all get in on this stock. It was really brilliant. So what they figured out was that, look, these major hedge funds have shorted this stock. If we all buy it now, we can drive the price up, and they have to buy it back from us. So they've shorted this stock, meaning they've borrowed it and sold it. And so now they owe the stock back. They have to buy it back at some point. And Wall Street Bets has I think they've got millions of people in this subreddit group. And it's all about people who are, looking at what to invest in and things like that. So this ended up driving the stock through the roof. And then the fact that they know that it just kind of kept, growing exponentially because they knew that the stock was going up now. Now they know that all these hedge funds have to buy it back. So then they know that they can drive it up even more. Then Elon Musk tweeted it out and it just goes through the fucking roof. But this thing went nuts and it was so shorted by these big hedge funds that it ended up, it's been making people, just regular people, I mean, not like poor people. These are people who, you know, have some money to invest and play around with, but just regular people are getting fucking crazy rich off this shit, and hedge funds are bleeding.